Well, hello, channel surfers. This is Lauren, your friend and attorney host who loves to overanalyze everything, including my favorite reality TV shows. And you'll see that today D is missing. Yes, D, the reluctant Monday sidekick, is extra reluctant today for a good reason. D is sick. I'm tired. And frankly, I think I speak for all of us when I say we are sick and tired of Kody Brown's BS apology tour. Y'all, this is Sister Wives, Season 20, Episode 14. You are toxic to me. Let's watch.
Remote reality, yeah, that's the key. Unlocking stories wild and free. With the host, side by side. Channel surfers, let's ride.
Welcome back, channel surfers. 2025 is almost over. Like this week, it's going to be 2026. I am so excited. New year, new me, so they say, because I'm old, tired, and worn out. If you can tell from my busted butt sitting in bed podcasting, I need a new me. Can I just get a younger model? Maybe one that has more energy because I'm tired, y'all. I am tired. As you know, my 4-year-old son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes a few weeks ago. I have it myself, so now I have 2 continuous glucose monitors beeping at me at all hours of the night. Sleep is something I miss. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the newborn days. Like, wake up, give the kid juice, go to bed, wake up, give me juice, go back to bed. I think as tired as we all are of Kody, even Robin, I think Robin's a little exhausted from it. She's looking tired too, isn't she? If you're new here and channel surfing for the first time, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Remote Reality, we've been on YouTube since I think about June. We started our podcast back in April with Poly Family. Woo! That was a crazy one. Maybe even a little crazier than Sister Wives. But honestly, the characters were more likable than Kody and Robin. Anyway, I'm sorry you're just getting me today because D, my reluctant sidekick and paralegal, is sick. And she deserves some sleep because I sure as heck ain't getting any. So how's everybody's holiday? Is everybody surviving the post-holiday excitement? We're going to get through it, guys. We're going to get through it. And the producers are giving me the energy I need to make it. Episode 14 starts in Cedar City, Utah, with Shirley Temple getting out of her white convertible. Okay, it's Kody. It's Kody. Yes, his curls are amazing. I have to give him that. Am I jealous? Yes, because my curls do not look like that. He's got to be using a curling iron, right? Like those, is that really what curly girl method does? Are those natural? Those are big ringlets and they don't look brushed out, much like Robin's. Does anybody else suspect that maybe Robin is doing Kody's hair? New theory. I'm going to go with yes. I just want big curls like that. But I would brush them out. That's all I'm saying. And I'd also like a white convertible. But anyway, Kody's getting out of the park and he's in a strange mood today. Because he's not in a strange mood like literally every other day. Strange is the perfect adjective for this man. But okay, we'll give him strange mood today. Kody says that he and Meri have only really been speaking through lawyers, which is probably advisable once we hear what their phone conversation sounded like when he called Meri and told her that her friends need to shut the F up, which is pretty 100% how he said it. He didn't say shut their mouths. And apparently Meri took that very personally. Yeah, your ex-husband calling you, telling you need to get control of your friends. It's not personal. Just business? No, Kody, that is personal, A. And B, talk for yourself. Like, if you have a problem with her friend saying something, then approach them about it. Have the conversation with them. Why do you think that Meri is going to be your mouthpiece? Her name's not Robin. Kody says that one of the things Meri never worked out in their relationship together was that their conversations escalated. Just within a matter of seconds, they would turn. And we see that in this episode, but it's because she challenges him. We have seen the apologies now from Janelle with Christine. They just let him say what he has to say and tell him to get walking out the door. Robin doesn't challenge him. She reinforces his delusions. But Meri calls him on his BS. That is the difference. She's spicy. And I love it for her in this episode. So next we are going to venture out to North Carolina, right over here on my side of the coast. And we've got Janelle gardening. She says it's easier to garden in North Carolina than anywhere she's ever lived. Personally, I don't know. I do not have a green thumb. Growing up, I would go help my grandparents in their gardens. They were from southeastern Virginia and North Carolina. And they had everything: tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, grape, bell peppers, snap beans, figs. So that's probably the only gardening experience I have. I do have to say, though, nothing beats fresh garden vegetables, like fresh garden tomato with some Duke's mayo on white bread, little salt and pepper. All right, it's almost lunchtime. Also, homemade candied jalapenos. Made some of those recently, and I saw my brother yesterday. He was mad that I didn't bring him more. They're real good, y'all. Anyway, Janelle, we ain't farming flowers today. We are farming turnips. Big old turnips. And Maddie, she didn't just fall off the turnip truck. So Janelle is talking about getting a spiritual release from Kody. And Madeline's worried. She wants to make sure that her mom isn't trying to get back into this polygamy thing. Like, you don't believe in the religion anymore, so why are you doing this? Polygamy is toxic. Mom, why? Why take this spiritual adventure back out to Utah? I have to agree with Janelle here. The alternative, what is on the line, is an eternity with Kody. I would take every precaution. Like, let's just make sure we are safe from it. Now, she can't imagine that God would want her to spend an eternity with Kody. She said that if she gets to the other side and that's what's happening, then she'll deal with it then. Honestly, she'll probably get there and be like, is this hell? Is this pure hell? Eternity with Kody and Robin. What did I do wrong in life? And because Janelle didn't have a legal marriage and she doesn't have a legal divorce, like that court order, symbolically, I could see a spiritual divorce meaning something to her. Now, Kody just talking BS again, sitting in the ITMs saying if a man asks for a spiritual divorce, it's impossible. A man cannot ask for a spiritual divorce in his religion. My BS meter was like the sirens are going off. Anyone else have like big sirens going off? Look, I am not part of this religion, but here's my problem. Meri wanted a spiritual divorce. If you really wanted one, then why not go with your wife when she says, I want to go get one, and get one with her? Go support her in getting the spiritual release. If you really want one, why is it that you can't even remember that Janelle has texted you asking for one? This isn't some fly-by-night conversation. This is saved in your messages, Kody. So yeah, if a man really wants one, he can at least support his former partner in getting it. But pretending like the conversations don't exist and not being supportive doesn't really scream, oh, please, church, let me have a spiritual release. No, does it? Actions speak louder than words. I have to say, I really liked Maddie's tie-dye baby carrier. That was really cute. It had some sort of loop in it. I don't know. The type that I had, you have to like wrap yourself into a pretzel to get into it. Oh, in confession, I had it before I had kids. I actually used to carry my little 7-pound Shawini around in one. Yeah, I was that dog mom. Don't judge. He was cute and feisty. It was safer for everyone. Anyway, Meri gets out of her car in the parking lot to meet with Kody, and she's walking up with her soda. Kody and Meri have only talked through attorneys for a while, which Meri found awkward. I hate that she had that experience. Different attorneys see their job in different ways. To me, you're going to have adversarial sides whenever you have two different sides. And a big area of my practice does deal with property. And this is what Kody and Meri were doing. They were dealing with property division. potentially what we would call a partition. And I've talked about that before. And Dee's not here to get me off of my law soapbox. So I'm going to try to keep this short. But at least my point of view is you can have adversarial positions without being adversaries. The whole point of the law is to make sure people's rights are protected. Like at the end of the day, make sure that you're doing what the law requires, that Meri is getting what she would be entitled to. And actually in a partition action, when you're dealing with what we call specific performance through real estate, oh God, he's going to kill me. This would also be a court of equity. So it's not necessarily monetary damages that are awarded if you're looking at selling a property, forcing the sale of property. So courts of equity, sometimes they look at remedies outside of law, not that are different than what the law says. They have to still craft a performance that the law intends the results to. Anyway, equity means fairness. Oh God, I sound like Kody Brown trying to use big words. Ugh, gotta go brush my teeth, wash my mouth out after that. I am so sorry for the law rant. See, this is what happens when you get sick. But anyway, when I have clients, I'm talking to the other side's attorney. So the attorneys are doing the talking. And then I go back to my client and I explain the sides, try to do it in a way that doesn't have all of these emotions attached, even though they're very emotional situations. You just have to give them the facts, let them know what they are looking at, and be that voice of reason. And it doesn't have to be unpleasant. And sometimes it does get unpleasant. Like if you have another side and the other party isn't listening to their attorney and they're refusing to work anything out. And as I say this, I realize this may be what Kody's attorney was dealing with, speculatively, in my opinion. Anyway, I digress. Dee is going to kill me. Back to the parking lot. Kody asks if Meri wants a hug or a handshake. And Meri's like, I don't know. I don't even want you here. I didn't even want to be here. I don't want to touch you. I don't want you to breathe on me. I don't know what you're carrying around on you. And she puts her hand out to be like, I don't know. And Kody goes in for a hug. And it is the most awkward hug. It's one of those, I'm just going to tap your shoulder and back off kind of hugs from Meri's side. Kody, she's not excited to see you. None of these exes are excited to see you. Read the room. And as soon as we get to the hug, the attempt at brainwashing starts. Meri points out how Kody and Robyn didn't even say hi to her last time. And Kody tries to shift that situation on Meri. Like, no, Meri, you're the one that was being weird. When Meri was sitting there staring a hole into their heads at Coyote Pass, just waiting for somebody to glance her way. Usually you can feel someone's gaze on you. Like, is this Kody and Robyn not feel that? Some sort of secret power? As if Kody read some sort of book on how to be friends with people. He's asking Meri what's going on in her life. And understandably, she don't want to share that with you. Dude, you're a stranger. I don't know you. I trusted you with my life. And look where we ended up. Why do you even feel entitled to any details about me? This is not show and tell. Why are you here, dude? Kody's just trying to be friendly, though. Trying to be friendly, but you don't have to be my friend. Exactly, Meri. What is Kody trying to do? It's up in the air. Cut to Robyn in the diary room, who looks like she's just zapped, just out of it. Even the way she's talking is kind of monotone. And I don't believe any of what she's saying either. When Kody and I were together, I didn't hear about his other relationships because that was separate. That was not me. I don't have to be there now because he'll come back and tell me everything. I used to need to be there. Oopsie, I did too much inflection there. Because he wouldn't tell me, but now he will tell me everything so I can just sit at home with my dolls and my kids and my stories on TV and my credit card and QVC. I'll get this story when he comes home. Let's take a poll. Who believes that Kody didn't tell Robyn anything about his other relationships? while he was still married. All right, anybody you in the back? No, you were just scratching your nose. Okay. Yeah, no one believes that. In fact, I'm pretty sure on this show, Robin has talked about how she tried to help Kody through relationships. She had her nose so far up Meri's butt because she was stuck between Meri and Kody that even a bidet wouldn't have helped at that point. BS. We get to see the multiple personalities of Kody. First, we have psychic Kody Cleo, who gets this vibe. He just senses that Meri's sore. No, Kody, that is indifference. That is, I don't like you and I don't want to be around you and I don't know why I'm here. You don't have to be sore to not like somebody and want to be around them. You can just decide that you're done with their BS and that you don't want anything to do with them anymore. Kody also blames this soreness on the lawyers. And then I start to get this creepy serial killer vibe. Did you guys catch this? He tells Meri, our last conversations have been through lawyers and you got all of your share of Coyote Pass and you should be happy. And Meri is staring at him the way I think I stare at him in every episode, which is I cannot believe the words spewing out of this man's mouth. And he looks at her and takes his pointer finger and thumb and pulls his lips up into a smile, telling her to smile. It was so gross. He's there to apologize and be friendly. This is your idea of friendly? What are you going to do next? Cut slits in her mouth to make her smile after you murder her? 911, there is a serial killer at this park. And then he starts talking about water under the bridge. It's like, oh my gosh, she has a plan to dump the body. Let's just slowly back out of the situation, get back in your car, Meri, and drive directly to a police station. Or maybe I'm misreading it because he just wants to stand and apologize. Kody in his apology. He says apologize so many times. Meri is finally like, this is not genuine. Stop saying I apologize, which is exactly what Dee said last week. She said when use the word apologize, that doesn't sound sincere. And I kind of teased about it. But yeah, out of Kody's mouth, absolutely not. It sounds robotic. It sounds practiced. It sounds like Robin made him write 100 times, I apologize, so he didn't forget to keep saying it. His point of view on this is, if I keep saying I apologize, then how can Meri be mad at me? Like, how can you be mad at somebody that apologizes? I don't know. I killed your cat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, he feels entitled to forgiveness. He feels entitled to these women not having negative thoughts about him after the way he's treated them. He feels entitled to a lot. Kody just wants Meri to have a good life and to move on. And Meri's like, dude, I have moved on and I told you, like, on the way in here, my life is great. You being anywhere in the picture of my life isn't needed for it to be great. It actually helps when you're not around, but okay. And then Kody comes out with the real reason for this apology. Meri, it doesn't seem like you've gotten over me when your friends are talking smack about me. There it is. He wants Meri to get her friends to shut up. He wants people to stop bad talking him. This apology is for Kody. We have said it time and time again. Meri eventually calls it out and says it right to his face. And Meri is not rolling over on this. She's like, my friends care about me. And when somebody treats me bad, they're going to make fun of that person. They're going to draw tiny little eggplants on balding curly men. They're going to make fun of you in the diary recordings with production. If you don't want people talking bad about you, Kody, then don't act like a pig. But what's done is done. And you can't silence them. Isn't it so annoying when somebody acts out so poorly and then they expect nobody to find out about it, as if they can just treat others in whatever way they want to treat others? And it's up to the people they're hurting to keep it some big secret. Not how it works, Kody. Besides, these friends have been around Kody for years and he denies it. He is delusional and they might not even know Kody, but they know he hasn't been around their friend Meri. They know what they see of him on the show, which, yes, can be very highly edited. They know what other members of the family have said to them, like, we haven't seen him in a few years. The kids haven't seen him. Just because they don't talk to you doesn't mean they aren't entitled to an opinion about you. Now, Kody's opinion of Meri's friends, that they're bitches, that's none of Meri's friends' business, what he thinks about them. And it's none of Meri's business, what he thinks about them. This is what Kody tells Meri. So if it's none of their business, then keep their names out of your mouth, Kody. Because when you say things about them or say things about me, all of a sudden you're up in our business. And also, Kody, vice versa. What they think about you is none of your business. If what you think about them is none of theirs, then what they think about you is none of yours. And you don't need to be telling them not to talk about you or Meri because it would be none of your business. It's so hypocritical. Does anyone else experience the sensation when watching Kody's apology where your mind just kind of goes numb? Because you're trying to process logically what is being said. And you're just like, this is not making any sense. Like, make it make sense. I see that look on Meri's face. And I know, like, brain completely shutting down and numb, just in disbelief that she's even hearing what Kody is saying. Like, can someone be that stupid? David and Christine, they are redoing their basement and they're on a budget, but Christine maybe didn't budget for everything. It's probably okay because David does drywall. That will definitely help with some of the expense. I bet he has some connections in the business. And she's also not sharing a budget with 3 other wives. So all in all, probably more simple than the Vegas houses. They want to make the downstairs area into its own little apartment. So when the kids come to visit, or maybe even in the future with their mothers, they don't know what's going to happen. But they might need to be caretakers. Now, there is insulation just hanging all over the place. I felt itchy just watching it. Like, it's hanging down into storage basket. It's like that Pink Panther cotton candy fluff all over the place. Basement wife. I don't think this is the first time the show has addressed basement wife. I remember it a while back. But Christine explains the double meaning. She said in a lot of homes, there's usually a basement and one of the wives goes down there, but also symbolically, you're at the bottom. The other wives are over you. And when they were in the Lehigh house, Christine was the basement wife. She volunteered to do it, but she had kids. It just made sense for her to be down there at the bottom. Just thinking about it gives her a lot of anxiety. Now, David's saying, I think it'd be kind of cool to be a basement wife. Yeah. And he jokes about having wives on the higher levels. And Christine's like, don't even joke. No, we're not going there, David. But Christine said that in the basement, she could hear everything that was going on with Meri. The ceilings are really thin. Everything. She heard them fighting. And then I started thinking, like, Meri probably wasn't sleeping with Kody. I feel like that had been off the table. So what was she hearing? In the fights, was it Meri like screaming at him because he couldn't get it up? Did she hear Meri being constipated and trying to poop on the toilet? Did she hear Meri talking on the phone to Catfish? Does Meri have horrible taste in music? And Meri continuously plays one song and Christine's like, if I hear that song one more time, swear. Is Meri a bad singer and she likes to sing in the shower? I don't think basement wife would be terrible. If there was a storm or something, then I would feel safe. Maybe if the walls were thicker, it would be a cooler experience. I don't know. We don't really even have basements here in Charleston, South Carolina. The sea level, we're low. We're close to sea level. There's not much digging for basements. I guess that's why we don't have them. Back at the park with this Meri and Kody apology, Christine and Janelle both got treated to a restaurant. Why are we meeting Meri at a park? Because there's woods nearby where Kody can dispose of the body. I agree with Meri. These vibes are weird and they are not giving goodwill. Kody tells Meri that he's sorry for how he feels about her friends. And I love it. I love this part. Meri says, Kody, you are entitled to feel however you want. You are entitled to your feelings, but you are not entitled to tell me your feelings. Look, I'm not your therapist. I'm not your friend. I'm not your shoulder to cry on. I know Robin doesn't want to hear it, but go tell someone who maybe pretends to care. I don't know. There's a rock. Go get a pet rock. Circa 1980s. Anyway, and then Kody starts talking about furniture floating down the river and he's not going to go and grab. I don't know. Like, why is the furniture in the river? I've got questions. I think he means baggage. Meri says, I didn't even bring that much furniture, which was supposed to be a joke. And Cody's like, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't think you're funny. Oh, I guess Kody and I agree on something. I almost want to laugh at it just so I don't agree with Kody on that. Anybody else? Anybody else do like a little chuckle? Like, okay, I do see that's funny. I don't want to think like Kody in any way. Then you get kind of scared. You're like, did I just agree with him on something? And Meri's not funny. And then you start questioning yourself. Just me. This is what lack of sleep is doing. And we finally get to the part that I talked about at the beginning where Kody says he's going to just keep on apologizing because how could someone hate him if he keeps apologizing? Even though this is after Meri said, stop saying I apologize. It sounds insincere, circa D last week. And then it's just like diarrhea mouth apologies. But I feel like this is where his speech kicks in. He apologizes for not saying I love you. He apologizes for how toxic he was during their breakup. He apologizes for not being there for Meri in Las Vegas. He apologizes that during Meri's dark time, he wasn't there, which Meri quickly points out my dark time is because you weren't there. I wouldn't have been in a dark time in the first place if you had been there. And seemingly that throws Kody off his guard. He's like, oh, no, I don't look like the good guy anymore. That was such a crazy, I mean, look, I'm not trying to get back with you, Meri, which, whew, good. Meri's not taking you back either, Kody. She is making it clear we are never getting back together. Apparently, you have transformed her into a Taylor Swift fan. I believe that is a Taylor Swift song. Don't come at me. I think I know one Taylor Swift song. Shake It Off. But that is she referencing Taylor Swift? You guys, I'm still stuck in like late 90s, early 2000s hip hop. Sorry, Bear Share came out. I never had to move past that time. I blame technology and really, really good music, but I think that's Taylor Swift. And she says it like 5 million times. Let me look it up. Okay. I did my Google search. Taylor Swift from the album Red came out in August 2012. I know that Taylor Swift fans really, really love her. So I wanted to look that up and make sure I was right. Yeah, one of my friends is like, she like went to Amsterdam to see Taylor Swift's concert with her husband, which, I mean, I love Lil Wayne, but I don't think there's any artist that I love enough that I would like travel overseas just to see them. Probably a me problem. But Meri's like, oh, hell no, Kody, what are you talking? Why are you saying this stuff? And Kody explains he doesn't want his nostalgia to be mistaken for wanting to be back with her. Meri's like, that's totally clear. It is completely clear. Your nostalgia is trying to make you seem like a good guy, trying to make it so we stop talking about you. It's really just all for you. None of the nostalgia is for me. I, again, don't know why I'm here. Don't want to be here. But yeah, don't worry. It doesn't even matter what your point is. You're not coming back. That door is locked. That thing is bolted shut. They welded it shut at this point. He's not getting back in that door. And I'll tell you the biggest reason why. Meri's got a Jen bodyguard. Jen is fierce. She's not letting Kody through. I bet she knows how to send furniture down a river. Wink, wink. Meri wants to have a conversation. She doesn't want to sit there and just have Kody apologize to her. Let's talk about this. And Kody, as he has throughout this whole apology, cuts her off and says they don't need to argue. But if you want to have a conversation, we can. And then Meri's like, well, you just told me we can't, pointing out his hypocrisy. And then we find Meri getting to the point that I think Janelle and Christine and even Robin are at, which is where she's just going to keep her mouth shut. Look, there is no talking any sense into somebody that is illogical. No talking sense into this man. No need to even waste her breath. She doesn't need the closure. She realizes she doesn't need any of this. Maybe this is what he needs. But now she's at the point where she's just like, just let him talk. And earlier in the conversation, Kody says, oh, it's so weird that Meri says I cut her off because the other wives say Meri can't be shut up. That's because in comparison to them, they just got tired of dealing with his mess and stopped arguing with him. Where Meri's just like holding on to the bitter end, arguing with him. But in this moment, we see her finally release. She's just like, no, just get out of here. Get out of the park. Say your piece and leave. David and Christine back in the basement, hanging out in the open insulation. And Christine is explaining that in some marriages, one wife seems to be more important than the other wives. Christine says that they're all to blame for this, but David calls out Kody. He goes, nah, that is the man's fault. The man needs to get in there and make sure that everybody's treated fairly, that you don't have one wife above the others. Let's tell it like it is. When Christine married Kody, Kody was placing Meri on a pedestal. He let her know, look, Meri does a lot of things right. And if you want to basically be the ideal wife like Meri, then you need to start doing those things. And she says these are things like cleaning, stuff like that. That's not where my mind was. I was like, I didn't think you guys got word. I didn't think you talked about that kind of stuff. Anybody else's mind go there? Admit it. Who was thinking that Kody was talking about what Meri can do with her mouth? Just me. Christine thinks that Meri got a lot more opportunities because she was the legal wife. So especially, I guess, when they were in hiding, she would get to go to events with Kody. And Kody wasn't meaning to put Meri on a pedestal, but it's just kind of how it worked out. Janelle said that it rotated. Like, she had been the basement wife before, so everybody had their turn, which is similar to what Meri says, that when it was her, Janelle, and Christine, but he would shift his affection to each one. And then I guess when it was Robin, she was like a leech and just sucked up all the attention. Became this big, fat, bloody leech. I don't know. Ideally, wouldn't there be affection where everybody feels it? It's not just shifting it from one to the other. I think about My Five Wives and Brady, and at least the way the show portrays it, it looks like they all feel love. But I guess every relationship looks different, polygamy or not. And this is just how the Browns relationship looked. When you're shifting the attention, though, it creates that competition where you've got one wife in the lead. So also, as far as Christine saying it's not intentional, I think there's different kinds of intent. There's like, I specifically intend this result. But then there's also, I should know that these actions aren't going to end up in a good result, but I don't care that they will. To me, that's a different kind of intent. And should Kody have known that taking Meri places and not trying to put all of his wives on an equal playing field would lead to Meri feeling like she was the top wife? And if he cared to listen to what Janelle and Christine said, wouldn't he have some inclination? It's an interesting thing to think about. There are also things like Meri being the first wife and getting this huge wedding. And Christine and David both agree that in polygamous marriages, second, third, even fourth weddings, they're like funerals. But Robin's wasn't. Robin's was a huge event, which again is putting her up on a pedestal. If you're trying to treat all your wives the same and it's not tradition to have a huge wedding for your fourth wife, even if TLC is offering to pay for it, like, respect the boundaries and give her the funeral for a wedding she deserves as the fourth wife. Christine says that a lot of people in fundamentalist Mormon polygamy, they're related to her, and talks about how she and Kody are actually related. They're third cousins. David's response is, ooh, which, yeah, David, I know. I'm trying to hold my lunch back too. Mainly being related to Kody, and then also mainly marrying Kody. Even if those two things were exclusive of each other, I mean, two reasons to need a barf bag, right? They are third cousins once removed. Janelle says in the ITMs, look, it's not like they're running into each other at a family reunion, which really, like, a family reunion, what is that like? How many generations do you go back when every family has like 20, 30 people for like the nuclear family? I'd imagine it'd be pretty hard to find venues. It's legal, so I guess it's not gross. I just think, at least with my family, the genes need to spread out a little bit more. We need a little mixture. We need a little culture in this mix. I definitely couldn't do it. We need to break up this gene pool. David blames the man in this situation. Kody has to be devoid of any accountability. It's not his problem. Look, these broads are pecking it out at home while me and Janelle are at work trying to work out the mortgage payments. Although Janelle's also one of those broads where the pecking order has been established. While she's not at home either because she is also paying the bills. And apparently his solution is, you guys work it out and go to church and be charitable. Oh yeah, and Janelle, you go to work. I'm sorry, if Janelle isn't there, then how is it her fault? I agree with David. What do you think, Channel Surfers? Team Kody? It's not his fault. Those chicks at the house need to peck it out. Or Team David? Kody needs to treat them all so that they don't feel like one of them is higher than the others. Reliving the whole basement wife terminology, it's trauma for Christine. She doesn't want to have to relive it again. And it's so sweet. David looks at her. He's just like staring in her eyes. And he says, you're not going to have to be a basement wife again. And Christine says, I'm the whole housewife, baby, and you're my whole man. They are so cute. Just the way that he's supporting her and validating her. Like, you're not the bottom of my list. There aren't other wives, but even in life, he's putting her at the top. It's very sweet. I really love David and Christine. I'm glad that she's getting her fairy tale. Back at the park for this Kody apology where we're all just rooting on a murder to take place so it can be over. Meri is telling Kody, you don't have to say everything you think out loud. If you think it is none of my business what you think about me and my friends, then don't sit there and tell me you and your friends are bitches, but that's none of your business. Because Kody, I got a lot of thoughts about you, and they don't come out of my mouth. Because trust me, there's a lot that I could say, and it's not cool, and you wouldn't want to hear it. Kody just keeps on shutting down that conversation because he doesn't want to hear it. He does not want to hear any criticism. Anytime Meri wants to have a conversation or wants to tell Kody what he did wrong, he shuts her down. That's not what this is about. This is about him apologizing to make him look like this great guy and to get them to shut up about him. It has nothing to do with accountability. Meri is still looking at Kody like he has two heads. And Kody is finally realizing this is an impossible task. For me to turn my story around by talking to my ex-wives who really don't need me, who are over me, who have nothing to do with me and want nothing to do with me, it's not going to come off the way I wanted this manipulation to come off. Oh crap, I wish Robin was here to speak for me and fix it. But yeah, apology tour, failure. Cut to Janelle. She has clicked her ruby red slippers together 3 times and has found herself back in Utah, back among the AUB, ready to ask for the release from Kody. And she is nervous. She's not sure what's going to happen. She's just going to go in there and say, we haven't lived together. He doesn't want anything to do with my kids. Please don't make me spend eternity with him. She's not sure how it's going to work out. But girl, I got my fingers, my toes, my bra straps. It's all crossed. Please, please give Janelle that release. Maybe if she gets that one, she can go find some other release in Utah. before she heads home. Janelle also wonders if what she has dealt with Kody rises to the standard of a release versus what Meri put up with. Because Janelle has only been separated from Kody for like 3 or 4 years. Okay, only like 3 or 4 years. Like, how you have to put up with a decade of this trash for them to release you? In my opinion, what they've all put up with is enough. But again, that is not coming from the standpoint of somebody in that religion. This is just my opinion, looking from the outside. We'll see if the power that be agrees. And now we're back at the park with Meri and Kody, and Meri is ready to hit that nuclear button, which, in Kody's world is the word kids. She thanks Kody for giving her the family that she still considers family. She still loves him. And Cody's like, yeah, look at me. See, I'm the good guy. Get me a high five, Meri. And she's like, okay, get me hand sanitizer. We'll do a little high five there. And then comes the bombshell. I just hope you can get past this, Kody, because you have a bunch of kids. Whoop. What does Kody do? And he's afraid he's going to look like the bad guy. Yeah, maybe Kody realizes at first that, okay, I've been a little bit of an ass. So he puts his hand on Meri's hand. Let's not talk about the kids. You can't shut Meri up, though. So then he tries to use big words to confuse her. That's verboten. Meri's like, I don't know what that means. You know what? I don't know what it meant either. I looked it up. Kody explains it to her in a very condescending way, like verboten. It means it's not allowed. It's actually stronger than that. Verboten means that it's not allowed by an authority. So speeding is not allowed by the government. There is authorities, but he is the authority that is not allowing this speech. That says it all, doesn't it? That he is putting his foot down and he is the authority. Also, word I do know, Kody, you are verbose. You use too many damn words. Keep it simple, stupid. Now, this is the second week in a row that the apologies have taken a turn to the exes pleading that Kody fix his relationship with his children, which, if we think about that, what's the real risk? The real risk is that is one of the things that Robin finds most attractive about Kody, is that he's a good father. So they are unintentionally, or maybe intentionally, threatening his relationship with Robin. They're pointing out that he is not the sexy man that cares about his family, at least in her eyes. They're also showing Robin, you're pretty easy to get over, Kody. We don't even need you to help us. Go do something better with your time. So Kody cuts his relationships, or this conversation about his kids and their relationship, short. He's just like, look, I'm working on it. All right. Meri rolls her eyes. I don't think she's believing it. And then Cody's like, how can I keep Meri from saying anything else? Meri, you're right. This apology is not about you. It's about me and God. Yeah, Meri, you don't understand. The Almighty requires me to be here to waste your time with this apology. God wants you to be miserable and in my presence. Don't you get that, Meri? This is what God wants. And Meri's like, yeah, okay, great. For God too. And once he pulls the God card, Meri, what else can she say? He says, thank you for a fascinating experience. And she's like, yeah, I agree. It was fascinating. That was a wild ride. And Meri says something pretty insightful, that she realized she doesn't have to understand Kody. She doesn't understand him. She doesn't have to. She just has to understand herself, which I don't understand Kody. And maybe we should just accept him for the fascinating person he is. The person who ends this apology with, I got to take a leak. So I'm going to get up and run because I'm about to pee my pants. Honestly, I think he's about to pee his pants because Meri has scared the crap out of him. And she's like, be careful. I know how old you are. Not sure if you wore your Depends today. But yeah, any excuse to run the heck away from Meri. We survived this episode without a homicide. Thankfully, nobody is floating down the river. That is it. That was season 20, episode 14 of Sister Wives. You're toxic to me. Thank you, channel surfers, for listening. I'm not sure if Dee will be back tomorrow or not. I'm hoping, because I know 90 Day is her favorite day of the week. but I will definitely be back regardless. I hope everybody is recovering from the holidays, and we'll see you tomorrow. Last episode before we head into the new year. We love you guys. Bye. Let's ride.